So I'm going to be talking about how fear and love embrace in worship, how they work together to bring us before God in the right way. It's funny to think that there's a right way to come before God, but it's important to understand that because we serve a holy God. When you look at the Bible, God takes worship seriously, and He has set certain things in place, certain rules, certain ways of approaching Him that are right. Think of the president. We come before the president of the United States, and that's a whole different. We carry ourselves. We are careful about what we say. We're stiff and we're nervous and we're like, we hope we say the right things. That makes sense to everybody. It's very different than how you and I just talk. We can joke around, but God is so much greater than the president. He's holy. He's just. He's true. He is scary. That's what His holiness is. He's so other than us that there's something very, very, very terrifying about coming into God's presence. As Hebrews says, our God is a consuming fire. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. Now, do I want people to be afraid of God to the point that they won't even come before Him? No, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about coming before Him in the right, with reverence. We're talking about coming before God with the proper deference, the proper protocol, the proper posture, And so worship really should take us from I think of Isaiah chapter 6, when Isaiah becomes before God on the throne. He sees God on His throne, surrounded by these incredible beings who are praising Him day and night. They cover their eyes because God is too holy to look at. They cover their feet, and they fly around His throne all day and night, praising His name. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty. Isaiah sees it, and he falls flat on his face, and he confesses his sin immediately. He knows his sin because he's seen God. That's what we will all do when we see God. When we see His holiness, we will know our sin, and we will know our unworthiness, and we will fall down on our faces before Him. And it's then that God comes down to Isaiah. He sends His angel down with the coal of fire, and he touches it to Isaiah's lips, and He makes him to stand, and He heals him of his sin, and He sends him out. There's a logic to worship that we need to walk through. It's part of coming before God in the right way. We need to see God in His holiness. And so worship services should start with a view of God transcendent in His holiness, enthroned on high, creator of the heavens and the earth. Before we talk about His immanence and His love, before we talk about His nearness, we must talk about His transcendence. It's biblical, and it helps us to come before Him reverently with the right heart attitude, and not be presumptuous. Presumption is a big problem in Christian worship today, and a right understanding of how to order our worship services along biblical logic will help us tremendously.